Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to start this video off. In fact, I was going to let you know, I had this whole video ready to go, and I literally pushed a wrong button on my computer and lost everything. So I just had to put all this back together. This is my life. Sometimes it just doesn't go my way. Now, something I wanted to bring up is that the flare, this is the flare drop. This is their pinned tweet on the Flare networks. The Flare distribution will start when the Flare network goes live. The team is working to make this happen safely as soon as possible. It is dependent on finishing security testing. We expect this at the end of June, plus or minus 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, so June is over. So this thing is apparently imminent. Okay, now I wanted to bring this up because I was talking yesterday to the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, my dad, and he told me that I needed to bring back up the airdrop tax issue, not for the purpose of causing a stir, but just to make sure that my audience is prepared for what's coming, or at least knows enough to intelligently ask their accountant how they should handle it. Because the way I understand it, the last time Flare and the CEO of Flare spoke on this, they said they're going to do it the way they originally said they were going to do it, and you are going to get the airdrop the first 15% in the first month, and then you're going to get it dropped in tiers. Now, you're going to get it dropped in months, for like month after month for the next year or two, whatever. Okay, now I still stand, and my father, the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, we both still stand beside this. 100% up front, everybody wins. Because, and what this whole issue was about is if you're getting taxed ordinary income, then you're going to be in a situation where the first 100% there is no market, so there will be a zero ordinary income. At least that's what I'm comfortable with. But after that, it's ordinary income, and it can create selling pressure in every single month after that, forcing some of us to sell, and then forcing us to sell to cover the ordinary income taxes. Okay, now don't take my word for it, because you're in luck. I interviewed and I did it a while back, but I never played the whole thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to play, maybe do it in parts, 1 to 3 parts. I'll see how this video pans out. But Zach McClure from Token Tax. Now this guy is no dummy. I'll show you his actual resume when we get there. But at the end of this video, I'm going to tack it on to the end. I'll do the first part. He goes through, and he doesn't have an opinion. I mean, he doesn't even hardly know about Flare or any of that. But he is telling you what happened with Bitcoin Cash, and he's making you think about all of what could happen, so that you'll really have a good understanding. This guy's the sharpest person in crypto tax that I have listened to, really. Okay, and you'll see for yourself. But I still stand by this 100% up front, everybody wins. This is how we all win. My understanding is that Flare is not, no, they may be, but I don't think they're in the United States. So they don't have to worry when they get their drops. Well, my understanding is they'll get all of theirs, but however they get theirs, it doesn't affect them. This is for people in the United States. So they'll get theirs. They don't have to worry about it, is the way I understand it. The rest of us do have to worry about it. And so I'm going to tack the pieces of this interview on. Now, I wanted to show you this because Brad Combs interviewed Quincy Jones. Okay, and I've got 3 clips from his interview that I thought were interesting. Here's the first.
Whatever return to essentially operate these. But that's my own personal feeling. And the reason I believe this as a whole is because, well, if something like this didn't happen, you may argue that Ripple may be one of the most powerful companies on the planet, presuming that the demand reaches the overall presuming that the overall use case reaches the maximum peak demand of overall utility, that the enterprise solutions that are using the technology are using it to the maximum of their abilities.
Exactly. So,
okay,
whatever return.
That's the first clip I thought was interesting, and then this one he drops Polysign.
Even though Polysign is the one that's technically like, I don't even know. They're sort of like, they're like a weird. They're sort of the middleman, so Ripple doesn't have that exact access, but it doesn't change the fact that how people go about it still shows.
Hey, if you can, that is my pickup truck. My wife had to move it because I was in the middle of doing a video. Listen to that engine hum. You might be able to hear it. She's going to be very angry that she had to move my truck too. You might be able to hear it. She's not here. You might have heard that. Okay.
Let me just cut in there. So, have you seen like language in the developer world that shows that Polysign's holding the escrow for Ripple?
No, not holding their escrow. It's more of like, it's this third party. It's almost like they're like it's like an auditor type of thing where they're like it's like Ripple's here and the escrow's here, and I'm pretty sure Polysign is basically trying to tell people like, hey, we're trying to disseminate that Ripple just can't come in here and do whatever they want. So I don't know if they have control over it.
So like oversight.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I actually put this one out on Twitter because I thought this was interesting. Listen to this.
There could be a ruling, and I usually say it like this, that there could be a ruling where you have to be an accredited investor or you have to have some special license. And just like the milk derivatives example, did you know I'm pretty sure you have to have a Series 7 license, or it's one of the securities license or securities and commodities license just to be able to sell commodities. And it's one of those things where it's like, wow, literally to buy like soy and grain and rice and milk, from an infrastructural like commodity standpoint, you need to have a license to do so. And I can see the exact same thing happening with XRP, that either your organization needs a license, or you need a license, or you need to be an accredited investor, or whatever it may be. This goes for most financial instruments. There's something like this. So this is why I say that people in the United States need to be wary. Now,
no telling how this story ends. All right, wanted to show you this. This is one of those things that keeps just bugging me. As you know, William Hinman is the guy with the SEC who had walked to the microphone and declared that basically, in his opinion, that Ethereum was not a security. Okay, and so this was from this month, June. Okay, William Hinman is now an advisory partner at Andreessen Horowitz. And so I wrote this out. Quite the head scratcher here. William Hinman, now an advisor partner to Andreessen Horowitz, which is a Ripple investor. He joins alongside Katie Hawn, who's also a partner advisor. And she was with the Department of Justice in 2015 when Ripple was fined by FinCEN and declared a virtual currency. And she signed off on the deal. To make things even more weird, to make things even more bizarre, she teaches at Stanford University. She teaches a blockchain course with Susan Athey, who is on Ripple's board. I forgot to put that part in here. That is bizarre. You want to see something more bizarre? Look at this. This is from April 15th, 2015. William Hinman, Laming Chen. Okay, deal makers of the year, Laming Chen and William Hinman of Simpson Thacher. Chen and Hinman shepherded Alibaba's $25 billion IPO on the New York Stock Exchange, the largest initial public offering in history. Okay? They were the ones in charge of it. This was the Chinese point man, I guess, and William Hinman was the point man in the U.S. Okay? Then, this is Laming Chen now. He's at the Ant Group. He went from Simpson Thacher with William Hinman to the Ant Group. Okay? Then you got this. In 2021, Ant Group revealed at the Digital China Summit that it has been cooperating with the People's Bank of China since 2017 to develop and test ECNY, the official digital currency. And just so you know, Alibaba Ant Group, an affiliate of Alibaba. Okay, so Alibaba owns a good portion of the Ant Group. All I'm doing is showing you the facts, folks. There is no false anything. I'm just showing you what has happened. So you decide. Now, Rosalind Layton, she had done this article yesterday. We talked about it, and then she retweeted it and says, inconsistent treatment XRP suggests regulators don't understand cryptocurrencies or that the SEC just doesn't like Ripple. I mean, these are some pretty bold comments here. Enforcement is regulation. Anyway, so the bottom line is, if you look at this against the backdrop of this, things look really, really creepy. Then there's this. Jeremy Hogan tweeted this out yesterday. I already stated the Hinman deposition will occur in my opinion. Interesting in this Ripple motion is some juicy details. Hinman meeting with the Ethereum Foundation and consensus shortly after the Ether is not a security speech. See page 4 through 5. I'd love to listen in on this deposition. And James Phelan had put out the document on that. And then John Deaton weighed in. Hinman's deposition isn't even a close call under applicable law. The truth should have its day. Why did he give an unnecessary, gratuitous speech on Ethereum and then meet with the Ethereum Foundation? And why are taxpayers paying his legal fees to fight a subpoena? That's a real good question right there. Then we have this. I found this. I went back and I wanted to see what some of these Ethereum guys were saying around the time that William Hinman walked to the microphone and called them a non-security. And I found this Joseph Lubin tweet. He's one of the co-founders of Ethereum. He was apparently arguing with someone, and he says and he also copied the SEC in it. It's not an IPO, it's a product sale. You can read about it here. So in other words, he's saying that they were selling a product when they did the Ethereum pre-sale or ICO, whatever you want to call it. The only problem he's got there is that at the time, the product was not out. There was no Ethereum network. That's my understanding, is they didn't have the Ethereum network. In other words, to use William Hinman's example that was on that CNBC video I showed you the other day, it's like if you're doing something like this and the golf course does not exist yet and you're trying to sell memberships to the golf course but it doesn't exist yet, then that might be an investment contract, right? Man, this thing, it all smells to high heaven, folks. Now, let's do some Bitcoin maxis gone wild, because a lot of times people get bogged down. They think that Max Kaiser and Michael Saylor are the only people that are way out there and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but no, it's not true. This is Anthony Pompliano, and he's interviewing this guy. This guy is from, I'm drawing a blank on his company, but he's one of the old school Bitcoin maxis. But they really do believe that Bitcoin is going to replace banks and central banks. Pompliano for years has said, short the banks, buy Bitcoin. But it doesn't really sync up. The second that El Salvador wanted to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, they're all jumping on board that and they're all excited about it. So it doesn't make much sense because they're anti-government, but then when a government adopts it, they act like it's good news. So they can't really make up their minds. But this is cuckoo talk. Listen to what they say.
Who has spent as much time as you have or others in Bitcoin want to see it fail, right? Or for some reason don't believe in it, etc., right? Kind of ridiculous.
It's such an absurd notion. And it worries me because Bitcoin does have some very serious enemies. And we have only started to awaken those enemies. And so if the Bitcoin community and if the larger crypto community itself is infighting all the time and just tearing each other down, they are going to be missing the actual enemy, which is the state, which is the banking system. That is what this stuff is in opposition to. Bitcoin is not in opposition to Ethereum. It is no coincidence that the two systems have grown up together and are hitting all-time highs together. They are collaborative, they are community together, and that stands in stark contrast to fiat currency, to the banking system, and to states which try to control money from the center. So I want people to orient their vision outside of those proper enemies because there are many of them.
Yeah. They actually believe that their mission is to get rid of central banks and that that's not going to be anymore. Man, like I've told you 1,000 times, I would hold their same view when I was like 15, but not at age 47, not this digital asset investor. Now, I've gone, I'm at 14 minutes. I may just have to put the tax video in its own video and just put that out. And I think I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna go review it, and then I'll just put the Flare tax drop video out in it by itself, because it's a good, I think it's a good 14 or so minutes itself. I'll go review it and do that. But in the meantime, let me go ahead. Well, actually, I'll do it when I do that video. But I wanted to mention to you, yesterday, I made my annual $6,000 contribution to my Roth IRA at iTrustCapital. I think I'm going to split my contribution between XLM and Cardano, which they have in these things now. If you do not have an IRA with iTrustCapital, or if you need to roll a 401k from an old company you work for or something like that, you need to get with these guys. I've got the links to their company in my description. I also have 1 month free in there. So check them out. This, to me, when these history books are written, my Roth IRA and my SEP IRA, I believe, are going to be two of the greatest things I ever did. because at age 60, I think that's the way, at age 60, I can take everything in that Roth IRA out tax freaking free, folks. That is a monster right there, especially if you believe that this is about to change the whole financial system. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family to check out iTrust.